Yeah, so welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. It's been a week, right? Yeah, so welcome to the closing program. The members of the steering committee will talk about, this is meant to be an informal reflection and reflection of what we have learned the past week and in our involvement with Open Ed Conference. So my name is Regina Gong. Introducing myself first. So my name is Regina Gong. I lead the OER program at Michigan State University, and really so happy that you're able to join us as we reflect on the many wonderful lessons and insights for this year's Open Ed. So this is bittersweet for me. So this is actually my 7th year attending Open Ed, and the 4th year that I had been involved in planning the conference. I was also in the 2018 and 2019 program planning committee. So I've had that perspective and insight into the work that is needed to mount a conference this big. But as you know, the past 2 years has been really hard because of this pandemic. And each of us has been affected by this in profound ways, some of which are really painful and difficult to bear. For the Open Ed Conference, it's also difficult because we are starting over and we are charting a new course while trying to put together our first virtual conference. But thanks to all of you, to the wonderful volunteers, my fellow committee members who volunteered their time, their energy, and their talent, we are able to manage to create a more vibrant, diverse, and inclusive convening of Open Ed. So reflecting on what this has brought me personally, literally, my professional life has been really opened as a result of my involvement in the Open Ed Conference. I have met so many wonderful people like you. I see you here who are so supportive. You are so kind and you're so generous. And personally, it brings me joy that I am able to help, I am able to support, and I am able to mentor many of you in the community and bring my perspective as a person of color, as a woman of color into this work. So that is all for now. I am getting emotional. I'll hand it over to Vero.
I think MJ's next.
Or MJ.
That's all right, Regina. Hi, everyone. I don't know how I'm going to follow that, quite frankly, but I'm MJ Bishop. I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor and Director of the Kirwan Center for Academic Innovation at the University System of Maryland. And we are co-leading the Maryland Open Source Textbook Initiative along with Maryland Online, the Maryland Association of Community Colleges, and the Maryland Independent Colleges and Universities. So that's a bit of a mouthful, but we've been your hosts this week. As I said in the opening, it's a little hard to know exactly what the role of a host is when you didn't actually come to visit us here in the great state of Maryland. We didn't get a chance to lavish you with crab cakes and Old Bay seasoning, but hopefully you all went out, and bought a can, and at least you're trying it on some things if you haven't had it before. As I was reflecting on 5 wonderful days of programming and collaboration and community that has happened yet a second year in incredibly difficult circumstances, not just because of the things Regina was just pointing to with COVID and the pandemic, but just the entire reorganization and rethinking of what Open Ed can be in the future. And in some ways, it's hard not to want to draw some comparisons there and some analogies. You know, bravo to all of you for being at this place at this time after these last 2 years. And I am, and Nicole will tell you, when she came to me initially, I thought, you know, we went, at least in my mind, I was going back and forth about, how does this continue? Should it continue? What sorts of things should it look? How should it look? And I think you all have come together in ways, all of us have come together in ways that have really created a strong vision for the future at a time when open education is more needed than ever. And to be able to reframe it the way it's being reframed around inclusivity, that it's about student achievement and student success as much as it is about affordability and access. You know, those are all the things that are going to be so important moving forward. And having created this very strong community moving forward, I think is just bodes so well for the future of this. So congratulations to all of you. I look forward to the next time Nicole asks me again to host in Maryland, and hopefully we'll get to actually see you in person. Thank you for having me.
And Vero?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Veronica Moreno. I think I already introduced you yesterday at yesterday's plenary. No, wait, Wednesday's plenary. I'm a Mexican medical student. Well, I'm not a medical student anymore. I'm studying international businesses now. I'm already a graduated doctor, and I was lucky enough to be here as a student, representing a lot of students and a lot of the international community, even though I'm from North America anyway. It was such a great opportunity to have the pleasure to be working with these incredible people that you have to believe me that they work a lot. I was really surprised of how much of this world I didn't know, and I got to know here. And compared to the last year's conference where I was just a speaker, it was incredible how it changed, and the advancements that we made, and the things that we managed to change from last year. How all this new, I remember last year we had not a lot of student sessions. I was part of a student association, and we were looking for all the students sessions, and there was barely, I think it was just a one with Haley. I'm sorry for all the background noise. But I remember that it was incredible to see that at least one was student led. And this year we have a lot of panels, a lot of student interactions, a lot of student connections, networking, and people looking for mentors, as well as mentors offering themselves to help students around the world, not only in the US, but everywhere. We have to remember that the opportunities and connections made today will last forever, and will not only benefit the people attending the conference, but the people that will remain in the community, that will remain advocating for OpenEd. So it's time to make a change, and I want to congratulate all the steering committee, but also all the participants, all the attendees, because you're making a change. You're building a better community for tomorrow. It was a great experience, and I wish to see the conference growing and growing in the following years. Thank you, and I will pass this on to Emily.
Well, thank you, Vero. I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the program committee. So we had this wonderful cohort of hardworking volunteers. I mean, clearly the program is a core component of the conference. And we started developing topics, brainstorming how we wanted to help organize this conference. We created the call for proposals together. We coordinated the review process for over 300 proposals. And thank you to the about 100 reviewers of proposals. We had a huge community support in this process. So thank you to all of our proposal reviewers. It's taking a couple slides because there were just so many proposal reviewers. And thank you also to all the team that helped check the pre-recorded videos. We tried to ensure the captioning was as effective as could possibly be before we turned the videos over for our consumption during this past week. Thank you also for all the just all the teamwork, all the camaraderie, all the fun that we had together. This was a fantastic committee to be a part of. We thank everyone who contributed in all sorts of ways to creating the program that we've experienced together. So yeah, we just can't say it enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of these volunteers that have created the program. Our program team also really helped with the tagging. We hope that we found the tagging useful as you were navigating your way through this really robust program with over 150 pre-recorded talks, and as well as about 70 live sessions. We've had just an enormous amount of rich programming, and thank you to everyone who helped make it possible. I think I'm turning it over to Aisha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aisha. I'm the Open Education Coordinator at Spark, and I wanted to use my time to throw shine on a couple of committees that I worked really closely with. So the first one is the DEI committee, and they were just an amazing group of people who made sure that diversity, equity, and inclusion was at the center of this conference. From getting nitty gritty with language to reaching out to underrepresented groups and offering them scholarships, and just making sure that DEI was the foundation of this conference and not an afterthought. It is just super appreciated of this group. And nothing but good things to say about all the names up here. And they drove all this work, so throw shine to them. And then another committee, which I loved working with, was a small group, but they were so efficient. Our meetings were quick because they knew what they were doing, and I just loved them. They handled all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and they wrote so many blogs that were helpful to attendees. And they had a lot of ideas thrown at them and had a lot of changes they had to deal with, and they always handled it with grace. So huge shout out to these people. Amazing group, and I hope that they continue to volunteer with the conference, because we could not have done it without them. So I am passing it on to Haley.
Okay. I don't even know where to start. It has been a journey for the Strategic Planning Committee. I know a lot of these folks on your screen have been with us for 2 years now. Some of them are new, but all of them have brought a wealth of information, a wealth of just lived experience, and sage advice as contributing wonderful, thoughtful members of this community who have really put in their time to drive this community forward. We grappled with some really big questions this year and last year about, what is this conference going to become? Where do we go from here? And we're still grappling with some of those questions. There was a lot of meetings spent trying to narrow down the scope, trying to figure out, what are the tangible things that we can do? How do we take this one piece at a time? And everyone was just always so willing to, pour their heart into making sure that this conference continues. It's clear that it means so much to all of them. And I guess just for me personally, I served as organizational support from Spark. But every person on this committee was just so willing to be almost like a mentor to me, and help, sort of develop this process truly together. And I'm just so thankful for the relationships that I've built with all of them, and all the work that we've all put in together. Now I'm getting emotional. So thank you. It's been a wonderful few years, and I am just so pleased to be able to share this space with all of you and to continue working on this together. So thank you so much. Oh, and I am passing it to Lisi.
Just wanted to make sure the camera actually got on. So yes, hi everyone. I'm Lisi Fandel. I'm the Programs and Operations Specialist here with Spark. And this is my second year working with the group. And I'm so thankful to the conference committee for letting me come on for a second year. Last year, I was just on the help email. So I made a giant leap onto helping to coordinate the engagement committee. Feel so lucky that I got to have the fun group. So we were in charge of all the very fun social activities, the game nights, the crab cake cooking, all that good stuff, all the fun stuff in Discord. I'm so thankful to this group of people who were just on it from the very beginning, from the very first meeting. They were just so engaged, so excited to get started with this work. And they really made it my part of it very easy. So very thankful for them for all the hard work and for hosting everything and for just being so ready to be a part of this. I'm really thankful for having had this opportunity. And yes, it's very important to include the fun stuff. So yeah, just thank you again for allowing my small bit of contribution to this conference.
Oh, fantastic. So I guess I'll step in. Hi, I'm Nicole Allen, Director of Open Education for Spark. And I have been working with this whole team behind the scenes to help this conference run smoothly over the past week and the past 2 years, really. So I want to make sure to acknowledge the people that helped make this week possible and running smoothly. We really appreciate everybody who has sent feedback that the conference has been running well. Also appreciate the patience of everybody, where there were technical difficulties. We had a bunch of people working really hard and volunteering their time to support the sessions you all attended. So I want to especially acknowledge our session hosts who ran the Zoom meetings that you attended. I was actually doing the calculations, and we'll put out final numbers on this, but we spent over 250,000 minutes on Zoom. And that's and that's not even counting all of the minutes we spent watching YouTube. So probably collectively we spent about a year at this conference. So, want to thank the individuals who made this possible, the people who ran those Zoom sessions, especially the people who are at the top of those lists. I actually pulled it by the number of sessions people ran, and Lee ran something like, I don't know, 20 sessions during the conference. Dustin, Katie, Tiffany, Tina, just thank you all for, the effort that you put into this. There's more. There are more people that ran sessions and helped the conference run smoothly. It may have not been visible to all of you, but all of these people went through a training as well about not just how to operate Zoom, but also how to respond in the event of a code of conduct violation during the session. So we, really put a lot of intentionality into the way we approach host training this year, and also received some feedback from sessions this year on how we can expand that training next year to make the conference even more inclusive. So thank you to all of these people. I want to make sure to thank the steering committee. Many of these individuals have been involved not just this year, but also last year. And especially those who signed on last year. When we were starting this, we were starting from scratch. We didn't have anything except an amazing community. And it's really fulfilling to see what we've been able to build together over the last 2 years, and how we've set up the transition that we discussed earlier today and are hoping to support over the next few months. So, I just can't say enough amazing things about all of these individuals, Akanksha, David, Vero, bringing the student perspective to the steering committee, Amy and Emily. It's been amazing getting to know you. MJ and Daniel, thank you for, I guess, believing in this, and Spencer too, when we all got together, at the start of last year, before we even knew how the next year was going to go, and decided to do this. Regina, you bring so much energy to this entire conference, and my friend, my dear friend, thank you for everything you have put into it, and shaped it. Tiffany, oh no, Tiffany isn't on this list. We'll have to go back and fix that. So, and Tiffany, I want to make sure that we especially acknowledge Tiffany, because over the past few weeks, Tiffany Tiarina has put in countless hours to making this conference a success, working with all of the videos that you watched to ensure they were captioned, and making sure that the videos were uploaded to YouTube and disseminated out, and has hosted tons of sessions during the conference. So thank you, Tiffany, for everything that you've brought to this over the last 2 years. You did that last year at the conference as well. And Ethan, your wise counsel throughout this process has really helped steady the conference as we've moved through the strategic planning process, and helped communicate a lot of things that were very challenging, especially as we were going through the transition last year. So really grateful to you for that. And then, Wendy, it's been awesome getting to know you over the last year, and thank you for the perspective that you have brought to the steering committee as one of the newer members. So I just so grateful to all of you, and I want to make sure to acknowledge what I think we'll call the dream team, which is the Spark team that has been behind the operations of the conference. And that's Aisha Abdullah, and Haley Babb, who you heard from earlier. Haley has been driving the strategic planning portion of the conference, and Aisha has been working on the operations side with me. These are the people that have been behind the scenes making this whole thing work. And then also Winnie Zhang, who's not here with us right now because she went to law school, but until August was a huge part of driving the conference. And then of course, Lisi, who stepped in to support not just the conference last year, but also the engagement committee this year. I can't say enough about how amazing these colleagues are, and how successful they have been, and how much they've grown with the community. Also, just a few other people to acknowledge. Crystal Besessar has been on the help email and has been a total champion processing that this year. Kim Henze is responsible for the beautiful graphic design that you see across the conference, including a complete reimagination of the brand last year. Truly gorgeous work. And then Asha Law is responsible for getting the videos up overnight, so all of you can watch the recordings. And then another special acknowledgement for all of the work that Tiffany has done to make this conference accessible. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to Daniel for a few final thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. First, I just want to give a huge shout out to Spark, to Nicole, who didn't even mention herself, for being our fearless leader, for pulling everybody together, for pulling OpenStax and the Colorado Department of Higher Education, and of course, the University System of Maryland Kirwan Center. Thank you so much for getting me involved. Thank you so much for getting such an amazing organizing team involved. When we were back in 2019 and trying to figure out what the heck was next, I think a lot of us were kind of willing to say, okay, whatever, like we'll move on, we'll find the next conference. But you had a very strong commitment to this community, a very strong desire to see this conference continue. And I want to thank you for your leadership, everything that you've done, not only back in 2019 when we were starting to plan an in-person conference that we then had to get out of the contract at the hotel, all that fun stuff, but just for always being there, for always supporting this group, for being the advocate that we need. Thank you for that. And to all of my other organizing partners, I am so thankful to have had the opportunity to work with you over these past 2 years. And I look forward to continuing to work with you into the future on Open Ed and everything else, because our paths will undoubtedly cross again. I also want to give a special thank you to our sponsors. Creating a conference like this, especially as Nicole said, from scratch with nothing except an amazing community, takes money. And we were so fortunate to be the recipient of a big grant from the Hewlett Foundation to get us kicked off and started, and also found ongoing sponsorship from the Michelson 20MM Foundation as well. Their support really made this possible. It made it possible for us to offer scholarships to those who needed it. It made it possible for us to really just make sure that this is an accessible conference. We have worked hard to be strong stewards of that money and to make sure that this is a conference that anyone and everyone can reach. And I think we're seeing that in the amazing number of individuals who have been able to attend. So thank you so much to these sponsors. We couldn't have done it without you. So I'm going to hand it off to Amy, but first I want to open up the floor to any of our other steering committee members who haven't had a chance to speak quite yet to share any of their closing reflections. Ethan? Maybe?
Ethan, your hand is up.
I think he's trying to unmute.
Hey, am I here? I'm here. Okay. So I didn't have unmute permissions for a second there. No, I was gonna really, this has already been said a little bit, but really quickly, I was just gonna say, you know, the work required to really develop a community led conference is enormous, and you know it's so much faster to be able to just make decisions and decide and make choices along the way. And you know, I not that I was specifically skeptical about the Spark team being able to do that, but really anyone being able to really do the work of, you know, constantly being transparent and facilitating and soliciting feedback and input. And I just I'm so blown away and grateful for Spark and all of the committees and the host organizations and the financial sponsors in really investing in that and doing that work. I know it was not easy, I'm sure, to try to coordinate so many moving pieces. There were like 200 people on those slides alone. But I'm just so grateful for that and excited about the foundation that you all have laid as we move into the next iteration of this conference.
I'll just throw out that I think we're all awesome, and this the conference has gone like really well both years, and I feel like I don't think last year or this year we've seen a whole lot of negative feedback, you know, and if we do, it's very minimal and like minor things. I think that this is probably one of the most successful virtual conferences of the pandemic. It's definitely the most successful that I've attended. So yeah, just, I don't know. Thanks to everyone. You guys are great.
Excellent. Anyone else like to share closing thoughts?
I have spoken already, but I just wanted to say on behalf of the Spark team, I know Daniel, you threw some love Nicole's way already, but the level of detail and the level of just like thoughtfulness of everything that's happened at this conference has been because of Nicole. Aisha and I, you know, have been lucky enough to benefit from sort of her great mentorship throughout this whole process, and just wanted to say how thankful we are, you know, to have the opportunity to be a part of this. And you know, this conference truly would not have happened without Nicole. So I just wanted to state that and have that on the record from, I guess, the bottom of our, you know, hearts. Just thank you for all your work that you've done.
I have something to say, although I already talked. I'll make it quick. I just want to say that I'm new to this community. I started in March with Spark and no conference experience. I've said this before, kind of got thrown into everything after Winnie the Queen left. And everyone has been so kind and so opening and welcoming. I have nothing but good things to say about everyone in the community. So it's been really nice that people can welcome new people into the community with such open arms. So if you are also new, if you started this conference and you knew nothing about OER, nothing about open, I was the same, and this could be you next year. So just want to say community is great, and I'm so happy I've been able to learn so much from everybody here, and I super, super, super appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, maybe I will go ahead and turn it over to Amy to talk about passing the torch.
Yeah, I've just been sitting here trying to make sure I'm not reading on camera. Look, just appreciate all the beautiful sentiments and echoing all the thanks. I have learned and grown so much in participating on the steering committee and other committees. And so it's my opportunity to talk about passing the torch and, you know, some of the things that people have already said about mentorship, what it means to be a leader, the privilege of watching newbies come in, supporting them, develop, you know, helping them develop and grow, students, bringing students into the movement and empowering them, right? Developing the next generation of leaders. And it's bittersweet when you're the one who, you know, knows it's time to step aside, and that will happen at some point for all of us. And so, you know, there's so much gratitude in being part of this and in watching the next generation grow. But we also want to underscore, sorry, that ultimately this conference is owned by the community, and it is a lot of work, but it's wonderful, gratifying, rewarding, meaningful work. And I'm just so thrilled to have been a part of it. And I look forward to see what the next board of directors, the next board, whatever it ends up being called, the future. I look forward to seeing that and being a part of it. So thank you to everyone. And I'm going to pass it to Regina.
Amy. Okay, I have to breathe first. Thank you everyone for all the love. I see all the things that you've written in the chat. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. Just really hope that you enjoyed all the learning and the connections we have forged this week. I hope you were inspired, and I hope you were invigorated by the amazing and thoughtful presenters, keynotes that we've heard all throughout this week. We hope that you feel that you are part of this community and that you belong here. As we all go back to our daily work, I hope you find your center. I hope we find our center. Who are we centering the work that we are doing? And of course, keeping in mind the theme of this year's conference, making open for all. I know it is hard. It is hard, and we have lots of work to do. But you know what? I really believe that we can do it, because we are doing this as a community. We are doing this together. And so thank you. Thank you to all that you do to make education as open, as diverse, and as inclusive as possible. But please take time to take care of yourselves as well. Fill your cup, because you cannot give if your cup is empty. So have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And until we all meet again, thank you.